It's time for us to go over some notes on artificial selection. All right, artificial selection. You might be wondering, why did I put a picture of a pigeon? And it turns out the pigeons have had is a great case study of artificial selection. In fact, Darwin used that as citing as an example, but I'm not going to be talking much about pigeons. I'm going to be talking about artificial selection, the foods we eat and the companions we love, our pets and our food. Why do we find so many versions of the same vegetable at the grocery store? You know, I mean, that is the question that we'll be talking about today. All right. Also, we'll be talking about, how do we get here? How do we go from like a cat, like an African wildcat, or in the case of a wolf, to being a dog, or in this case, a domestic cat? The picture on the left, African wildcat. Picture on the right, domestic cat. He was domesticated, become a rodent catcher for early hunter-gatherer people, while I would say dogs were more about hunting and using the pack ability of a wolf. All right, but eventually they became little companions. All right, like to an eighth grade science teacher and his family. Scientists believe the domestic cat came from the African wildcat. Like, cat still resembles some of those capacities when he does it, has his zoomies and runs around the house. Artificial selection is what we'll be talking about today. This is where not nature selects like last week. This time, humans select. Humans select desirable traits. For example, artificial selection, right, is a process of selecting under human direction. Humans choose desirable traits to fit particular needs. All right, so depending upon what you're looking for, all right, what are the selectors in looking for? So sometimes for plants, you want to improve the quantity of the plant. In other words, you get more. All right, so therefore bigger tomatoes. All right, or the quality, better tasting tomatoes of crops, to create a dependable food source. So that's typical speaking artificial selection. Now they do that with genetic modified food. We're not going to be doing genetic modifications. There's a little bit of that in STEM Scope. You can read about it. I'm not going to hold you accountable to GMOs this week. There's just too much to cover. Pigs. All right. Right now we're hearing a lot about this livestock here over here in the news in terms of possible meat shortages. All right. Pig farmers select with the ability to produce large litters of piglets. All right, big litter, more piglets, more money for the pig farmers. Right? They want the piglets to grow quickly and convert, and they want the pigs to convert into meat other than fat. Right? Which takes me to one of our videos that I wanted to share with you over here. Right? And I have it all queued up over here. It's called Super Cow. And I thought we could just kind of zip through this thing together. I have the sound down. Whoops. I have the sound down. And here we go. Let's start off with over here with Super Cow. All right. Now, notice this cow is basically, once again, been bred to avoid having a lot of fat. Right? This cow is ripped. It's called a Belgian blue. All right. It's a Belgian blue. That's what they call these types of cows. All right. So you can see over here with the lineage in terms of how they produce these types of cows. Selective breeding is about managing the sex to create the Belgian blue that has all the best traits of what you're looking for, which is those muscular cows. So you take the bull, you take a sow, and basically what you do is you look for the most desirable traits. Now they actually end up, before they actually take it to market, they get haircuts to insinuate the rips and their muscles. All right, and then you end up with the Belgian blue. All right, so Belgian blue is a good example for a type of cow that's been selectively bred to for muscle mass and not fat. So let's get off of that one. I have another video I have queued up for you about comparing artificial selection and natural selection. And once again, I had this on hyperspeed. Let's remember from last week, we have to have a variation of population. This is natural selection, right? Let's cover this one up. This is what we need. We need a trait to be inheritable, and there has to be limits of there has to be competition. All right, and then nature selects. Okay, that's the survival of the fittest. So you have to have a variation in population, and it has to be inheritable, which means it passed down from parent to offspring. But then there has to be competition. Okay, now let's talk about this week. This week, artificial selection. There still has to be variation in population, there still has to be inheritable traits, but this time humans are going to select what those traits are that are desirable. You know, a cow that produces a lot of milk, a nice little companion, a strong horse. So evolution, all right, they're both how new species are created. Okay, those are your videos of the week. Let's see if we can go back to our slide. All right, so Nate, wow, got a lot of people on here. Okay, so breeding and natural selection. So these are all dogs came from one original wolf ancestor, and there's the European line. And we still have modern wolves, by the way. And some of the wolves, sometimes still breed. The chicken's amazing. I always love this video over here. Okay, selective breeding. There's some advantages to selective breeding. It tries to establish certain traits so certain traits get passed on. But it's people picking those traits, not nature. It's not a competition for survival. There's no limited resources. The more the better. These traits that humans find desirable for certain things would be disease resistance. We can understand that one now, right? Strength for certain things, right? Calmness for animals, right? Our domesticated animals, particularly. Less fatty meat, endurance, and we might want that for our dog that's chasing after the feral hogs. Everybody loves the chicken episodes over here during this is the average weight of chickens after 56 days old. I'm thinking about getting chickens, by the way, and I hope I get one of these. All right, so after just 2 months, I get a chicken. It goes from the little tiny chicken to this big thing, a 4.2 kilogram chicken. All right, check that one out on your screencast. Did you actually watch it thing? Okay, so then we have all the different dog breeds. This is always a fun one over here. So yeah, so Europe did it one way, America did it another. China did this, more that boxer look, and then you got India, right? And dog breeds. Okay, we've learned so much about dogs. You guys remember you could be breeding your own dogs this week. Selective breeding. Okay. Can we make smarter dogs, right? Can we breed dogs to become smarter? Can we taking advantage of natural genetic variations? You just don't put the gene in the organism. It has to already be naturally occurring. And then you just solicit that and you take the mom with that same gene, with the father with the same gene, and you hope that those offspring have that thing. And that's why it has to be genetic. It has to be passed down from parent to offspring. The sausage dog. What do you think it was selectively bred for? Was it hunting lions? Was he a guard dog? Was for the aristocrats to rest their feet on? Or was it chasing rabbits down holes? Which one makes the most sense? Look for that one on the Did You Do Your Screencast assignment? Okay, I hope you know that the answer is not blue. Okay, let's eliminate another one. It's not green. Okay, so that leaves you with the red choice or the yellow choice. The yellow choice you can't see because I got this thing there. So, oh well, I have to live with that. Peaches, natural selection. Natural selection. This is what a peach looks like. Artificial selection, boom, that's a new peach. Over here, it tells you how many varieties exist and where. Only in China, 3. Over here, now peaches exist everywhere. In fact, I have a peach farmer friend. He lives out in the Central Valley. All right. Now there's 200 different varieties of peaches, and I noticed how it's 90% edible flesh versus only 64%. Over here, you got a breakdown. You got a breakdown down here of how much sugars versus water. So the sugar and the water ratio is pretty similar. Unlike the watermelon. All right, so a watermelon used to be tiny. Look at the big watermelon. Ooh, 50 millimeters. That's 5 whole centimeters. Now we got a big watermelon. It used to only be 6 varieties grown somewhere down here in Botswana. But now over here we got 200. Okay, 200. Oh, wait, sorry, 1,200 varieties. All right, so 200-fold increase. Look at all the different spots. Oh, look at that grid versus 6. And notice that watermelons are growing all over the place, and there's a lot more water in a watermelon, hence the name. Corn is the feature of the videos I gave you to watch, and the other one being the uh, the uh, the dog of the plant world. Corn originally only down in Mexico and maize, all right, and now you can see over here how it's changed. A lot more sugars, a lot sweeter now our corn, still rich in starch, and you can see that there's 200 varieties of corn versus the original corn over here. It's 19 millimeters versus 190, so 10,000 times larger. All right, so once again, corn is a good slideshow. I think you guys would like this. Hopefully, you get the whole idea over here that corn's got matters. It's always sometimes brought up. I put in some comics over here for you guys just to get some kick out of, right? So anybody going camping over here, and then I've got the bear boxes. And over here, I'm new here, That's what saying. You remember, you got to be survival of the fittest. This is natural selection. You remember that, desirable traits. Okay, he's winning what they call the Darwin Award. And let's see, always funny. I always like this one over here. And then let's see. Yeah, this is what you're going to be doing, right? You're going to turn your dog into a little chihuahua. It takes how long did it take to get that point, right? And lastly, what is this all about, right? Let's wait it out. We're almost done, boys and girls. Signing out.